This is the narrated PowerPoint on the essay, Why Communication Matters. Okay, so in the article by McLennan, or the editor of this book, she talks a little bit about job ads and the idea of how often we see something having to do with the communication skills being valued in those, and certainly we do see that um, pretty often. And so I just went into monster.com and looked at a couple. I typed in electrical engineering, and I got that first one. You can see that's at the Naval Nuclear Laboratory. So that would probably be a job that would pay pretty well. And here they're asking for effective collaboration and communication skills. And that fits with what some of the other reading has to say, not only about the communication skills, but some of those soft skills that are referred to later, with collaboration being one of them. And that's something that is interesting. You know, you would think, yeah, if you're going to any type of job, there's going to be collaboration. But this is something that's being highlighted. And so what that's saying is that this is something that they're perhaps having a problem with people who are good at collaborating. I also typed in information technology, and I got this one. This company is a biotech company, and so someone who is doing the IT for building management is going to be in charge of more than just making sure the doors are lock or unlock. There's going to be a lot going on there in terms of temperature control for laboratories and for storage and for things like that, lighting and all kinds of things. Anyway, this person prepares reports. There you go. And associated documentation such as daily logs. And the daily log is something that is a type of documentation that takes place in a variety of different occupations. An assignment that I've done in the past with classes is to have students go out and to talk to someone who has the type of job that they would like to have after they graduate. I've done this a lot with undergraduates. And one young man who was getting a degree in construction management spoke to his father's foreman, and about what role that writing played in his work. And this foreman told him something that he had to do for this fellow's father was to write a daily report on what had been done at work that day. So that was something that he was doing throughout the day, I'm sure, making notes and then perhaps spending some time right before he stopped for the day with writing up exactly what had happened. So, and this student, even though this was his, a company that was run by his father, was surprised. He didn't know. He had no idea that his foreman did this for his father every day. And of course, certainly here we see it in a very different context with an IT job working for a biotech. But that type of documentation provided through daily logs. More of you are probably interested in management type positions. Here's another ad for this SaaS implementation manager. This is a company that has different types of software, does different types of software development and implementation. And there I put in boldface the self-motivator with strong communication skills. So there we see it again. But sometimes you don't see something like this in an ad. I didn't see this in every single ad that I looked at. But a lot of times you don't see anything about communication skills. And again, it doesn't say writing skills. It says communication skills. And writing skills would be a part of that. But there's also things like collaboration, um, oral communication, and others. Some of those other soft skills are discussed in the other article. But also, just looking at these ads, just imagine how much writing would be involved with carrying out these duties at this company. Um, you're talking here. You have a client that may have hundreds or even thousands of retail locations. So you have information going out conceivably to all of these. Okay. Uh, Imagine all the report writing that has to be written for data migration and to get that to happen, integration with other software packages, and with training as well. And then you have the idea of what would have to be written about during the pilot, and then during the full deployment phases. So. And then down here you see the same types of things. You got payroll, identity management, customer information systems. So it's not only we're thinking about customer information systems, not only about the client that's interacting directly with SaaS corporation, but also that company's clients as well. So, a lot of writing. Now, these soft skills we've been talking about, but the McLennan writes, professional programs have been slow to this expansion and emphasis on communication skills, and she goes on to mention that they have been adding like a course. And adding a course is a step in the right direction. And one problem we have with dealing with disciplines like engineering, which I don't think that we fully appreciate in the liberal arts and humanities, is that they don't have minors. So if you get a degree in electrical engineering, you don't have the opportunity to minor in technical communication, which is really what it would take. I mean, I had one course in biology. I actually had a year of biology in high school. I had a semester of biology in college, but I don't think of myself as a biologist. I would never apply for a job as a biologist. I would never apply for a job that a knowledge of biology would have much of a role in, unless it was as a technical communicator, in which case my expertise would be in communication, not in biology. But my point is that to really take this matter in hand, it's going to take, and to really do a good job, and especially with people who may be good students but don't like to write and don't consider themselves good at it and aren't good at it very often, not in all cases, but in general, people in technical fields, and this includes IT, are not good writers. They don't like to do it, but yet they have to do a lot of it. So it's going to take more than one course, and I think that's what she's getting to there about there being slow in expansion. One reason that they don't have minors is because someone in something like electrical engineering might take up to 18 hours of different types of math classes, calculus, and so forth. And for calculus, there's different levels of algebra as a prerequisite. So essentially, they're kind of like math minors anyway. And occasionally you have a student who arrives in college who has had the equivalent of all of the math courses. And in that case, and that student can, and I have seen these students occasionally, can take what amounts to a minor in something else. But it doesn't happen very often. I would say it doesn't happen probably about 90% of the time, probably even higher than that.